What's going on, YouTube? Sean here, and welcome to my discussion on Cobra Kai Season 2. That's right, Cobra Kai is back, and it's still as amazing as ever. Now, for those of you who haven't seen it, Cobra Kai is a continuation of the Karate Kid series that spanned from Karate Kid 1, Karate Kid Part 2, Karate Kid Part 3, and the next Karate Kid, although they don't seem to be referencing that. Cobra Kai acts as a sequel from that film series, and focuses on mostly Johnny Lawrence, who was like Daniel's arch rival, and you got Ralph Macchio back as Daniel LaRusso. And Cobra Kai Season 1 came out of nowhere. I was excited to see it. I've met William Zabka, Ralph Macchio, and Martin Kove before. I didn't really talk to Macchio and Kove that much, but I met Zabka. This is a few years before Cobra Kai came out. And I had a good long, 10-minute conversation with the dude. He's a very likable guy in person. He's talking about karate. We were talking about some of his other movies he did and other things. He told me about the movie Python, which was kind of funny. But Zabka's a cool dude. And he's fantastic in this series. Him and Macchio, I tell you what, and the supporting cast are all fantastic. Cobra Kai came really out of nowhere, and it was so refreshing to see a character like Johnny Lawrence come in today's day and age and just tell this really overly PC generation kind of off. He says what a lot of people are thinking but are too afraid to say, but he just does not give a shit. So watching him say this stuff, it just reminded me how much I kind of miss the sense of humor, especially in today's day and age. People are afraid to say certain things to certain people, but he just tells it like it is, and it's hilarious. And even the kids point out, you can't say this. Who gives a shit? What are you going to do? This is the real world, kid. And it's true. The real world is a lot different from this, sheltered society that a lot of people live in. And Johnny Lawrence does not adhere to the current rules. He never really grew up, if you say. He's kind of stuck in that 80s mindset throughout the first season. You actually get to see a good bit of a redemption in his character arc. And you get to see a lot of things with Johnny Lawrence in the show, and this that you didn't see in the original Karate Kid. You get to see things from his perspective. There's just so much going on with Johnny Lawrence, and it's all really fantastic. You get to see him as kind of like the protagonist, and you see Daniel as kind of an antagonist. Then we switch to Daniel's point of view, and the roles reverse. It's incredible. Cobra Kai is one of the best sequels I've ever seen. In fact, I consider Cobra Kai to be superior to the original Karate Kid franchise. The only thing that it's missing is Mr. Miyagi, which is kind of worrisome. When I was going into it, I'm like, how are they going to pull this off without Miyagi? I'm like, that's going to be a tricky part. So it's very funny. There's a lot of emotional weight and depth to it, especially when we get to Season 2. I'll talk about Season 2 in a second. But yeah, when Season 1 ends, Cobra Kai is back. Johnny gets his life kind of in order. Sets itself up for an interesting second season when you see Kreese show up at the very end. And John Kreese, I'm reminded how much I miss Martin Kove in movies and stuff. Because Martin Kove, that dude, he just is Kreese. He's done a lot of other stuff. He's done Rambo and that. But that dude is pure 80s villain. And they add a lot of interesting layers to Kreese this season. But I'm reminded how much I love Kreese when he's on screen. The dude just has this presence to him. I really hope in Season 3 we get Terry Silver back. If we can get Terry Silver in Season 3 combined with Kreese, they were the best part about the Karate Kid Part 3. I don't really like Karate Kid Part 3 that much, but I love Terry Silver and Kreese. Well, really Terry Silver. Terry Silver is the best thing in that movie because that dude is completely out of his mind insane. But Karate Kid 3 kind of ends on an unsatisfying note. But yeah, Cobra Kai, that's a bit different. They introduced all these new characters. There's a lot of layers. You got a lot of conflict going on between Johnny and Daniel LaRusso. These two absolutely can't stand each other. But sometimes you'll find moments where they bond here and there. And those moments are great. They have Ralph Macchio and William Zabka. They're best friends in real life. They have a lot of great chemistry together. And you can tell. They're very funny. They play off each other very well. The rivalry between these two, it's very immature, but their rivalry just gets so out of hand. And just to see the damage that it causes to the people around them, it's great. Just whenever those two are on screen, you just see them just get on each other's nerves so much. There's a really funny scene in Season 2 where they're all out to dinner and Johnny just happens to run into Daniel, and you just feel the irritation in them, how much they can't stand each other. And you're laughing the whole time because you're like, oh God, what's going to go wrong this time that these two are in conflict? It's just they're so close to getting along at certain points, but then something comes in the way and creates that divide. It's something is just in between them. It just kind of ruins things for them. And that's kind of an overlong theme. That's kind of a theme in Season 2, per se. So, Season 1 is fantastic. Season 2 is also really good. It's a lot darker than Season 1. It gets a lot more emotional. I don't think it's as funny as season 1 was. Like, season 1 kind of like was the surprise, and I think season 2 started out a little bit weaker than season 1, even with Kreese coming back. But I think season 2 has a much more exciting climax, especially when we get to the end there. Holy shit, that climax! That climax kind of wrecked me a bit at the end there. I guess I won't give spoilers just yet, but I really, really dug the climax, and I was kind of surprised they went that dark with it. And I'm like, holy shit! Like, now I gotta get season 3 on its way ASAP, because the way it all ends. Let's do a brief overview of things I liked in season 2 first. So you know where season 1 went. Season 2, we get Johnny trying to, like, we get Kreese coming back into his life, and he has some resentment towards Kreese. He does not want Kreese back in his life at all because of what Kreese did to him. You see, like, he saw the damage that Kreese did on Johnny's life, but he was also, like, the substitute father figure there for Johnny when he was younger. This is the man that, like, turned him into kind of what he is today, although Johnny's not as far gone as Kreese, but Kreese sees the world in a completely different fashion. He comes from a different time period. He's seen the hells of war, and you see why he is the way he is. He says, like, that's why he needs Cobra Kai. They need to toughen up this really soft generation, because he views the world, like, as a dangerous place. Like, that's kind of where Kreese is. Like, no mercies. Like, you do not show your enemies mercy, because they will take you down. And in a way, something in regards to that happens later on in the season. And in a way, if so-and-so had shown no mercy, things wouldn't have been as bad as they did. But, like, Kreese, in a way, was kind of, like, of right of what would have happened if you don't show your enemies mercy. Something really bad can happen. And, like, it just kind of like that tragic element to it all. It's like you see a character try to do, like, one of the characters, Miguel, comes into, like, conflict where he's like, do I want to show mercy or honor? And he decides to show mercy, because that's kind of one of the things where Johnny's just like, no, we're not going to do things cheap shot. That's the pussy way. And he says it just like that. He's really funny in that regards. We're going to do things right. We're going to do things with honor, because, like, you want to be badasses, but we got to do it with honor. We got to show we're the best, because we are the best. So he does evolve, like, over the course of the season. And then Kreese comes back into his life. We get to see where John Kreese is at right now. He's kind of he's homeless, but, like, there's always some sneaky, mischievous thing with Kreese. Like, you never know what's coming up his sleeve. Then we get the conflicts between Miyagi-Do, which is the dojo that Daniel's running, and you get Cobra Kai. And it's kind of interesting to see that some of these kids who were quote-unquote nerds, or like the kids that were picked on, ended up becoming bullies by joining Cobra Kai. So in a way, Cobra Kai gave them confidence. It was good for them, but at the same time, they've gone a little bit too far. And you get to see that with a lot of the characters. For instance, Hawk has gone a bit far this season. Like, he's just disbanded from his friend Dimitri. He goes from the kid who's been picked on to being the one picking on other people or smaller than him, just being an outright asshole, but because he doesn't want to go back to that lifestyle of where he was, like, kind of this victim, so he just goes and he tries to be, like, this full-blown badass. And you see it in season 1, you get to see him fleshed out a bit more in season 2. And same with his friend Dimitri, who just reminds me of a kid I knew growing up, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so-and-so, this is someone I knew. I'm like, it's them. It literally is them, and I can't help but think of them when I think of this. Yeah, there's good stuff with him. You got Johnny's son, who's shacking up with, who's living at the LaRusso's now after what happened with, there's just some bad blood between him and his dad. Although, Johnny's son, Robbie, Johnny wants to get, like, you know, stay in touch and be on good terms with his son. He's trying to make up for past sins. He's trying to do the right thing. And you root for the guy. You really do want to see this redemption. And, you know, we knew when he took on Kreese, there's a lot of, like, worrisome concerns. And, you know, he was initially on top of things. He's just like, but then he decides, you know what? A lot of people gave me a second chance. I want to do the right thing. I'm going to give Kreese a second chance. But this goes astray, I'm going to disband. I'm going to tell him to go. And I respect that, because, like, how fair would it be? How fair is it really that, you know, he's giving people gave him a second chance, and he's not willing to do the same for someone else? So I totally understand where Johnny's character is this season, this go around, and Zabka just knocks it out of the park. Man, why isn't Zabka been in more things? He's fan-fucking-tastic in the show. Same with Machio. It's like, Machio goes from this teen idol to, like, back to his most famous role, and we get to see a lot of cool layers with Daniel. Like, he's having trouble balancing his life of Miyagi-Do. It's getting in the way of his auto dealership with his wife. But you understand his pure hatred of Cobra Kai, because they did make his life a living hell. And in fact, Kreese tried to fucking kill him in Karate Kid Part 3. Like, him and Terry Silver just had this intricate plan of trying to, like, kill him. So you understand why he despises John Kreese with a passion. He's like, Kreese is just bad news, like Johnny. And then you actually get to see them kind of bond over the fact that you actually get to see Daniel. He has, like, there's just this revenge thing with him and Johnny. Like, there's this great feud between them. There's a great scene when they were in the restaurant together. And what was I going to say? Yeah, so Daniel's just like, you and Kreese, blah, 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 blah. Oh, shoot, what am I going to say? I'm drawing a blank here. So, yeah, Daniel's there. And he's talking about, oh, yeah, you got Kreese back into your life or whatever. And then Johnny's just like, no, Kreese is gone. He's like, he just didn't want to show mercy. Or, no, he didn't want to do the right thing, so Kreese is gone out of my life. And you actually see Daniel like, oh, maybe he is learning. Maybe we can find some common ground. And they eventually kind of do. But, of course, every single time that happens, something goes wrong. Okay, so now we're going to get into some big spoilers throughout the rest of the season. I know I've kind of given a lot away, but I haven't given away, like, the ending of it. And the ending really got to me. The ending was a huge gut punch of emotion, and, like, it just has me really amped up for Season 3, especially after the way this ends. So, anyway, so Daniel and Johnny, like, they go out. Johnny's going out with, trying to go out with Miguel's mom. He has, like, this really, in episode 8, he has this really funny, like sex dream with his mom. And they're just playing this song as this montage, this weird fantasy that he's having with Miguel's mom. And it's hilarious, and I was cracking up. So then eventually he gets the courage to ask her out after beating up some asshole who was trying to, just kind of use Miguel's mom. And they go out, they have a nice day, they see the lure shows there, they all kind of bond, and everything seems to be going okay. And Johnny's like, okay, finally, things are starting to own up. Things are starting to get better. However, there's a lot of tension going on between Miyagi-Do and Cobra Kai, because the kids from Miyagi-Do are disbanded from Cobra Kai because they don't like the tactics, they don't like the mercy, they don't like being picked on and treated like shit. And there's some more compassion in Miyagi-Do. There's a lot of tension there. There's this girl named Tori, who some people think, in theory, might be like Allie, Johnny's former girlfriend and Daniel's former girlfriend from the first Karate Kid's daughter, spelled with a Y, not like an E or like an I, or is it Y? I don't know, I can't remember how it says. But she's kind of like this tough rogue karate type girl who also has a thing for Miguel, but she's also jealous of Miguel and Sam, Daniel's daughter, who's also kind of hooking up with Robbie, who's also in Miyagi-Do. And Robbie, like, you seem to be on the right path, dude, but man, did you fuck up badly at the end of this season. And holy shit, the way this season ends is like, Jesus Christ. The ending climax is epic as hell. I know some people don't like, I can understand some criticism where it's like, okay, they're a little bit too far advanced in this form of karate, but I don't care. Like, it's a lot more entertaining than the first season. Like, it's just this epic school brawl, and it's one of the most entertaining fights I've seen in a long time. Just all the kids' karate, all the fight choreography, being kicked around the school. I'm like, oh man, this is fucking awesome. It's like an all-out war. But yeah, so anyways, let's get to what causes the whole brawl in the first place. So, Tori is this girl who likes Miguel. Sam is Miguel's former girlfriend, also Daniel LaRusso's daughter, who's also Cobra Kai, also, like, basically Johnny's actual son and his, like, surrogate son, Miguel, have a thing for one of the LaRussos. And Miguel's actually trying to make things right this season, because, like, we actually get a lot of depth with Johnny Lawrence's character this time around. We get to see, like, how Johnny was, like, fearful of actually, like, not being there for his son at a long time. And he's just like, just think, I'm always looking out for your best interest, Miguel. And you actually see it, like, you see the heartbreak in his eyes of, like, his past mistakes, just, like, going up on him. He's like, no, I gotta do things right. And you actually feel the connection between him and Miguel, even if there's some times where he might be a little harsh, and that's where Kreese comes in. And Kreese is just the master manipulator, just kind of bringing things into conflict. And where you see where Kreese ends up at the end of the season is like, God damn it, Kreese, you're so fucking entertaining. Martin Kove is like, I don't know the real MVP of this. Probably Zabka again, but like Martin Kove is just awesome as Kreese. And like whenever he's on screen, you're just like, oh fuck yeah, Kreese is here. You know some shit's about to go down when it's John Kreese on the screen. Yeah, so Kreese is there doing his shit. There's a fight. Tori sees Sam kiss Miguel, blah, blah, blah. There causes some tension. Then she goes to the principal's office, takes over the microphone, is like, Sam LaRusso, you son of a bitch, we're going to fight this out. I saw what you did to Miguel, blah, 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 blah. And then they get into a fight, and it's this epic brawl. And then Miguel is beating up Robbie. Robbie and him are fighting. Like, all the other characters are fighting with each other. There's this one dude who's like in his 40s joining Cobra Kai. It's the funniest thing. He's just like, yeah, I'm still living at home with his mom. And that dude, Stingray was his name. Stingray was hilarious this season. He's a new character, but I absolutely love Stingray. It cracks me up. I'm still laughing just thinking about the guy. But anyway, so Robbie and Miguel are getting into a fight. Miguel actually has the chance to break his arm and fight dirty. He hasn't pinned down. He's just like then he remembers what Johnny told him about, like, the difference between mercy and honor, and then Miguel decides to show mercy on Robbie, and then he's like, I'm sorry, and then he stops the fight, but then Robbie just, like, gets up, kicks him. Robbie didn't mean to drop him off, like, a balcony. He just sort of just kind of kicked him because, like, in the fit of rage, because he didn't want him to score bonus points to Sam, because, you know, he's a jealous kid. He's, like, finally got a good thing hanging out with the LaRussos and stuff. But anyways, so they get into that. Oh, and before I get to the end, the fight between Daniel and Johnny, that was pretty sweet, too. I mean, it wasn't, like, this full-down, like, epic clash, like, one-on-one. Like, you get to see a bit of the tension between the two of them, get a little bit of the fight. And it's pretty great. Like, it's just like, you feel the tension there. There's like a realness there's like a sense of reality with that fight, more so than the school fight. Although the school fight is, you know, there comes a point where I'm just like, you know, I can throw reality out the window if it's entertaining. And it entertained the hell out of me. So that's just my point of view, and I can understand some people having issues with it. But for me, I'm just like, yeah, I can see that, but I honestly enjoy the more entertaining fights and kind of something a little bit less so. But anyway, so Robbie just kicks Miguel. Miguel falls off a balcony, and this landing, like, you see him falling in, like, slow motion, kind of like Hans Gruber in Die Hard. Just, boom, the impact right on the railing, and Miguel is almost, like, killed instantly, like, right from the impact. So I think Miguel's going to kind of have a Dragon the Bruce Lee thing where he comes back, like, after being paralyzed. But, like, Miguel just gets the shit kicked out of him badly. He's unconscious. He could potentially die in Season 3, and it's just like, holy shit. I really hope they don't kill Miguel. That's going to devastate the hell out of me. And especially, you just see the look on Johnny's face. Just like, why would Rob, like, he never, like, talks to his son after that. Like, Robbie just kind of, like, ups and, like, leaves. And, you know, he was terrified. I think he realizes, like, holy shit, like, he did not mean to do that. Like, it was just, like, in the heat of the moment. And, like, all the shit just kind of went down. And, like, I'm sure he's just going to feel just broken altogether. And Johnny goes to visit, and, like, Miguel's mom casts him out. I was like, my son never would have had this if he never would have met you. And you actually flash back to, like, Johnny throughout the season, like, always have your best interests at heart. And his lesson about showing mercy and honor just completely backfired. Like, it is the right thing to do. However, if he would have actually just gone with the Cobra Kai tactics, like, this wouldn't have happened. So they went really bold with that. It's really tragic that Miguel tried to do the right thing, and even when he did the right thing, something bad happens. And that's the real sad part of it all, because Kreese, in a way, is right. Like, you got to show your enemies no mercy. And then Johnny goes back to his dojo. Turns out Kreese is training his students to, like, because there's Cobra Kai kids who blame Johnny after what happened to Miguel because he said to show mercy, which Miguel show no mercy. But he told Miguel to show mercy because he wanted to show the difference between mercy and honor. However, things got out of hand, and Kreese is like, I will never let my students lose. And you just see him, he takes over the dojo. Johnny goes up, and he just leaves. He just goes out to the beach. He's depressed. He throws shit at his car. He throws his phone. Then you see the final message that he got a friend request from his old girlfriend, Allie, played by Elizabeth Shue. So I guess she's coming back to the next season. There's so many things, like Cobra Kai is now under Kreese's ruling. Daniel's being told not to do any more karate or to deal with Cobra Kai because, like, the rivalry between Johnny and Daniel has gone so far off the rails that it has caused all this tension. Like, his daughter's in the hospital. Miguel is nearly dead. And, like, they actually did try to get on the right foot. They were starting to get better, but then just tension, like, all the shit between them just kind of brushes off into all these people. Like, not necessarily directly, but indirectly does. So this immature feud between these two has just caused so much damage to the people around them. And, like, even when they try to get things right between each other, like, bad shit always happens. And it's so fascinating to see where it goes from here. Like, I love Season 1 and I love Season 2. I think it's tough to say because I think Season 2 ended on a higher note, but it didn't start as strong as Season 1. I think it's a lot more emotional. I even love the scene, like, some of the original Cobra Kai cast members, some of the original characters in Karate Kid show up, like Johnny's gang, whoever it was, the one guy who's like, get him a body bag, and it was really emotional seeing him pass away, and he gets put into a body bag. So it's like, holy shit, just the makers of the show absolutely respect the lore with all their hearts. And it's just really, really crazy to see all this, like, take place. So, yes, I absolutely love Cobra Kai Season 2. I think it's fantastic. I think you should check it out. I have no idea what they're going to do with Season 3. I think we may finally see Johnny and Daniel, like, team up together to take down Kreese and take down Cobra Kai once and for all. So, I hope that's where we go. Maybe the two finally learn to respect each other and, like, learn to work together, because Daniel is lost. Johnny's kicked out of his own dojo, so he kind of has nowhere else to go. Like, Miguel is hurt. His son did it. There's so much tension and drama going into the next season. It just has me on the edge of my seat. So, yes, you get the chance, definitely check out Cobra Kai Season 2. I think it was fucking incredible. Yeah, it starts out kind of slow and not as strong as Season 1, but I think it ends on a higher, a little bit more darker note than the first season. So in the fight, the battle at the end is more epic. And there's still some really funny stuff like in the season too. Of course, like Johnny discovering the internet is really, really funny. Of course, he searches up hot babes right away, and just kind of like his incompetence. Like probably the scene I laughed the most was when he was getting a call about like who gets to join his dojo, and he's like, "Yeah, we take boys. Yeah, we take girls." And he's like, "Gender X. Is this a prank call?" And he hangs up the phone. And I was laughing hysterically, like, oh my God, like he is so out of touch with today's times. So just the way they play Johnny off of everything. So like he could be a real dick, but there's a good side to him. Like there's good within this guy. It all comes down to this gray area. And you come to find out that with these kids, there's something that Miyagi-Do can teach, and there's something that Cobra Kai can teach. But each of them can't teach everything, and there needs to be a fine balance between the two of them. Like the best of Cobra Kai and the best of Miyagi-Do together can create like the best person you can be. So I think that's one thing that the show does a great job showing, like both sides of Daniel and Johnny's rivalry. It's the best protagonist versus protagonist thing I think I've seen like done in a show or series that I can remember, because you see things from both points of view, and it makes you root for like either Johnny or Daniel. They do a great job of doing so, and I absolutely love that about this series. So I fucking love Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai Season 1 is great. I've binge-watched it a couple times. I'm going to get to binge-watching Season 2 again sometime soon. It's only like 5 hours, and it's the only reason I got YouTube Red. So it's worth checking out. I can't wait for what they do with Season 3. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of Cobra Kai Season 2. I absolutely loved it. I think the cast is phenomenal. The new characters, the old characters. Kreese is back, and Kreese is awesome. It just is a win-win-win-win-win thing for me. Sometimes the only thing I wish, like, I know he passed away, but part of me wishes, like, I wonder what it would be like if Pat Morita was still alive and he could get, like, a cameo on this show. So, yeah. All right. Get the chance. Check it out. I'll leave you all later. Comment below, subscribe, hit bell for notifications. And if you have more theories about Cobra Kai Season 2, if you want to discuss it further, leave a comment down below, and we will talk Cobra Kai Season 2 and potentially 3. So, all right, that's all I got to say. Take care now. Bye-bye then. I'll see you next time.